guys, it's Jenny Silver, and today we're going to talk about, do you need an LLC for your online business? So many online creators are talking about getting an LLC, filing an LLC, forming an LLC, or registering an LLC for your business. There's some common misconceptions here and some really important things that need to go into your decision of whether or not you will be forming an LLC. Now, I want to clear up for you whether or not you must obtain an LLC for your online business. An LLC is a type of business entity. When you are engaged in business, you start your own business, you are earning self-employed income, you are automatically defaulted to what is known as a sole proprietor. Now, before we get into talking about what an LLC is and how it's different from a sole proprietor, we need to first understand a little bit about sole proprietorships. A sole proprietor means that you are one single individual that has started engaging in business. You are earning self-employed income, you are operating a business, perhaps you're an independent contractor, whatever the reason is why you are earning self-employed income, you are now a sole proprietor. You and your business are one and the same. There is no separate entity that has been formed. You have not registered your business in a separate way that creates a separate entity from yourself. Now, as a sole proprietor, you're going to claim all of your self-employed income on your personal tax return using what is called a Schedule C. This is the form where you're going to enter in all of your business income, your deductions, etc. Your business's tax is what is called a pass-through entity, which means that the business and you are one and the same in the eyes of the IRS for tax purposes. All of the business's income passes through to you, as well as the business's deductions, etc. So all of that is going to be on your self-employed tax return, your Schedule C of your personal taxes. Now, while you are earning income, claiming it on your taxes, and operating as a sole proprietor, your obligations to register your business do not stop there. Even if you are operating as a sole proprietor, and that happens automatically, you are required to be compliant with your local city, state, and county requirements for operating a legal business. Now, each city, county, and industry has their own unique requirements, but generally speaking, a sole proprietor will need to, number one, register their doing business as statement. This is also known as a fictitious business name statement or a trade name. Now, you can operate under your first and last legal name with no changes, no additions, and you don't have to register a DBA. But if you're operating under anything other than that first and last legal name, you're going to be required to file that DBA with your county. Now, sole proprietors do not need to register their business name if they are operating under their first and last legal name only. No changes, no additions. If they're operating under something different as their business name, then you're going to be required to register that business name, which is called a DBA or a fictitious business name statement, with your county clerk recorder's office. Additionally, in most cases, if you're selling tangible products, you need to obtain a seller's permit and you need to obtain a business license with your city. Additionally, in many cases, your city or county might require you to also get what is known as zoning clearance. This is basically a sign-off from the city planner's department that it is okay for you to conduct business operations at your business address. Now, those are the requirements, generally speaking, for a sole proprietor to be in operation. Of course, there may be other licensing, permits, or fees or registrations that directly correspond to your industry or your city or your county, but those are the generals. Now, you can be a legal online business as a sole proprietor and have all of your city, state, and county registrations completed. So that's one option. Now, the second option is that you form what is called an LLC. An LLC is a limited liability company. An LLC is different from a sole proprietorship. An LLC is a different type of entity, meaning that you and your business are no longer one and the same. It separates the business and the business owner. So your assets, your finances, etc. are no longer one and the same. There are some benefits to doing this, but whether or not it actually is beneficial to your own business is going to depend on a few different factors. Number one, LLCs offer different legal protections and financial protections that a sole proprietorship does not. Because forming an LLC separates you in the business, your personal assets, etc., are all separated and are protected from any repercussions that your business might face in the future. The next aspect that many find beneficial are that LLCs can choose to be taxed differently. Now, a single member LLC, without filing any additional paperwork once you form your LLC, is automatically taxed the same way as a sole proprietor. While the LLC is a different entity, for tax purposes in the eyes of the IRS, they are seen as what is called a disregarded entity. This means that the IRS passes through all of that business income over to your personal tax return on your Schedule C as well. While this is the default, forming an LLC means that you can also opt to register to have your LLC taxed as an S-Corp. Now, if you elect to be taxed as an S-Corp, a few different things are going to happen. Number one, you are going to be required to be an employee of your own business and be on your own payroll. You must be paid a regular, reasonable salary. This means you are going to have a payroll system in place, you're going to have to pay payroll taxes, and have that salary paid to yourself regularly. And it must fit what the IRS views as reasonable. The reasonable salary that you receive is, of course, going to come through as payroll. This means that that salary is going to be subject to payroll taxes. But the remainder of your profits that are still sitting in the business can be transferred as an owner's distribution over to you without being subject to those payroll taxes or self-employed taxes. This can be a big money savings for businesses that have reached a certain income threshold and are okay paying themselves a regular, reasonable salary and the fees that come along with that. Now that we understand both types of business entities, let's go back to the original question. Do you have to form an LLC in order to have an online business? The answer is no. You must be in legal compliance with your city, state, and county's requirements to operate a business. You need to register for a business license. You need to obtain seller's permits where applicable. You need to obtain a fictitious business name statement and register that DBA. You may also need to obtain zoning clearance, get an EIN, or meet other sorts of requirements. But you can choose if you want to operate as a sole proprietor, that default, simpler method, or an LLC, the one that separates your business and personal finances and assets, forms a separate entity, and gives you more flexibility on how you are taxed. So why doesn't everyone go with an LLC? There's a few important things that you need to consider first. So if LLCs offer better legal protections, separate your finances, and give you the option to be taxed differently and potentially save money, why doesn't everyone go with an LLC? There's a few different things you need to take into account before you make the decision to form an LLC. Number one, LLCs are subject to paying an annual LLC tax. In the state of California, this is an annual $800 tax to the Franchise Tax Board. Now, even if your business does not profit, you still are required to pay this amount. If your business grosses $250,000 or more, then you're going to be required to pay even more. Additionally, forming an LLC comes with a lot of other registrations, requirements, and potential fees depending on how you choose to operate your business. So it can be more expensive to operate the registrations and then also what you need to maintain your LLC depending on your tax election, etc. Now, if you want more information on how to form an LLC, or if you want to see how much it costs to form an LLC, click the video that is popping up on screen now.